Welcome to another Battle Report video, folks. This one is a double header. There are two games for you. We recorded them at our monthly meet of our little gaming group. We played 4 games in total. I played in one of the games, but I recorded 2 of the games I didn't play in. All of the games were played using lists from Fortress Europe, the new V4 Late War book. Now, a quick word about this book. If you think it's going to be the armies of late war with V4 points, you'll be disappointed. Battlefront describe it as a book that will allow you to play your mid-war forces in late war, and that is pretty much it. For instance, you'll only find stuff in here, with the exception of a couple of items, you'll only find things in here that were released as part of the mid-war range. Each nation's a bit different. The Americans, for instance, they are pretty much just mid-war units pointed for late war. They don't have any, for instance, the infantry have 37mm anti-tank guns, not 57mm. The tanks have 75, not 76s. But the Brits, however, have 17-pounders in their Shermans. They've got Fireflies, they've got M10s, Achilles, and the Russians have got T-34-85s. The Germans are pretty well cared for in mid-war anyway, so there's not much of a difference there. But the Americans don't have much, but I think that is because the American book is released pretty much at the same time as this. So if you're an American player, there's nothing in here for you really, but if you're a Soviet player or a British player, then you may want to get this book if you want to play V4 point games. You won't find all the options for the Soviets. They don't have tank killers, for instance, or ISUs, or ISU 122s, 152s, things like that. But you can still play some V4 pointed games with it. Now, the first game you're going to see is a British tank list up against a German tank list, and the mission is free for all. They rolled for it and they stuck with it. I probably would have rolled again. It's not much of a mission. But what we'll do is we'll go to the game, have a look. I've recorded over the sounds of the background sounds, because it's quite hard to make out my commentary, and hopefully you can hear everything okay. But let's have a look at the game, and then after it I'll do another quick recap for you. So first game is free for all, and it's a British Sherman company against German armour. The Brits have 4 platoons, as you see there. That's 2 Shermans and 1 Firefly. They've also got a platoon of 4 25-pounders, a platoon of 4 Stuarts, a platoon of 4 priests, and a company HQ of 2 ordinary Shermans. You can see one objective down there. Then over on the German side, they've got, I'm a bit confused about the makeup of some of these platoons, but they've got about 8 Panzer IVs, a couple of Panzer IIIs, a company HQ with 2 Panzer IVs, and they have 3 Tigers for support. You see the objectives on the German side. And the British are just getting ready. You can see the 2 objectives there, and the Brits have got first turn, which means no artillery for them. So lots of dashing going on by the Brits. You can see these brave Stuarts are racing up behind that wood, one staying behind the hedge to keep it line of sight. The other Sherman's dashing up behind the houses, keep himself out of line of sight. The Sherman's at the end there, they're kind of sticking their nose out a bit on the far end, and the Germans are just deciding what they're going to do to get some shots in, because there is some tanks in sight, so they're considering blitzing or just staying put and letting rip. So German shooting, they needed 6s really to hit things, so it wasn't easy. Having said that, So German firing was fairly ineffectual because they needed 60 to hit, but you can see on the far side of the table those Shermans that were sticking their nose out, one got killed, one got bailed, I think the Firefly got bailed, and a little Stuart got bailed, but they're now in a position where they might be able to turn the flank, but we shall see.
So over to the Brits for some manoeuvring and retaliation.
So in the British turn, they're starting to get the tanks in position to do some shooting. Both artillery batteries have ranged in, not causing any real damage though. The anti-tank is 3 against top armour 1, so it takes some bad rolls. But Sherman did manage to bail out a Panzer IV in the woods. The Panzer IV did take quite a few hits, but managed to make most of their saves, some good rolling. So the Germans are just getting ready, doing some blitzing. The Panzer IV's trying to get those Stuarts, not having much luck. These guys are under spot of bother. We'll see what happens with the German shooting. So you can see there is a dead Sherman, one dead and one bailed Stuart. And then on the other side, if we can see that in a minute, there's another bailed Sherman. It's a Firefly this time. 60s to hit those guys, but they keep getting clobbered. They're not having any luck at all. You see Shermans at the end of the town are firing in support of the Shermans at the end of the board, but they're not having much luck. They are getting some hits, but the German Panzer IVs are making their saves. So Germans doing a bit more manoeuvring. As you can see, the Brits managed to kill one Panzer IV with direct fire from an ordinary Sherman. At the other end of the table, the Brits only got one of the Shermans back in. It was a Firefly, but it passed its last stand because it's the only tank left in that unit, but it passed okay. So you can see another Sherman on the road has been knocked out by German fire. Another one bailed, so that platoon in the middle is taking a bit of a kicking. Platoon at the end of the road in the town, you can see still firing on those Panzer IVs with no real effect. And the platoon right at the end, well, it's failed its last stand. The Sherman Firefly has ran away. The Stuarts are trying to get closer, but they're just taking too many hits, too many straight to firepower kind of hits. There's only one left. We'll see if that one can do anything. British artillery still hitting ranged in targets, but not doing anything, not causing any problems for the Germans at all. So the Germans are continuing to fire back. It's still difficult to hit because you need 6s, but the Germans have lost one Panzer IV from the fire from the end of the road in the town, and you can see a Stuart's gone round the side. He actually managed to get a hit on the Panzer IV, and then it failed its firepower, and the Panzer IV got back in. And then you can see the Panzer IVs have moved up, turned around, only managed to bail out. The little Stuart is still sticking about. In the town, you can see the Panzer IVs no longer have to shoot at the end of the table. They're now hitting the guys in the town and starting to kill things. The guys in the town, there you go, one's just bailed back in, so they're still shooting away. They're not having a great deal of effect, though. You can see those Panzer IVs and Tigers are quite unconcerned, and another Sherman has died at the far end of the road on the left here. So British shooting was a bit better there. They managed to kill a Tiger and a Panzer IV. Oh no, sorry, just a Tiger and bail a Panzer IV. The little Stuart didn't get back in, unfortunately.
controlling each turn.
So the Germans are just picking some targets to shoot back. Well, in fact, the Brits are still firing here, sorry. But the Brits are running pretty low on tanks. So the Germans have managed to kill the last Sherman over here on the left. That's a Firefly. That little Stuart's still kicking. Oh no, it's dead. It's past its last man, but it's dead. Well, in fact, it's probably failed its last man as was bailed out. Countdown destroyed. Another Sherman at the right-hand side of the town has been knocked out. So there's less and less Shermans. The Germans are now feeling as if they've weathered the storm and they're ready to advance.
So they fired.
Try and get round the side of those Shermans in the town, perhaps. And then you can see on the right, as we're looking at it, the Germans are gathering forces and moving up. The British are trying to move up the priests into direct fire range, but it's not easy to move them through the wood.
And then the 25-pounders, once again,
so it looks like the Germans have weathered the storm and now they're pushing on for the objective, with the British in pretty bad condition.
The Germans are on the move. It seems they can't move and shoot because they didn't hit a single thing.
So the platoon at the right-hand end of the town has broke. The last survivor there, so that just leaves the guys in the middle of the town who are now squaring up to some Tiger tanks. They've got a Firefly, so they might be able to do something. But unfortunately, no, they can't. And the British Company HQ, you can see, has moved up to try and intervene, but the Panzer IVs have just moved around and destroyed it. Oh no, sorry, that's the survivors for that platoon pulling back out of the way. Company command is moving over to the right of the town. So there'll be a last stand required for the platoon that's now on the left of the town. But they're not making any real headway against the German armour. So that pretty much looks like that's it, folks. There's very little left for the Brits. They basically charged headlong at the start and didn't know where they were going. Just charged, massive move, because I can dash really quick. But when they got to where they were spread out all over the place, not concentrating their fire. And the Germans had some good dice rolls.
So my first thoughts at the end of that game was, the British were crazy, they just charged straight forward with no idea what they were doing, but that's probably unfair to mark. The British moved first and they moved up to a position where they could fire from, and from that point it was down to the dice. Really were very, very similar. The Tigers had better armour, but the 17-pounders were more than capable of taking them out. It came down to who could hit on sixes in the main, because there was lots of long range shooting, and who could make the saves. And the Germans got a few more critical hits in, made a few saves. What could the British have done differently? Well, they maybe could have defended on one flank. Maybe their right flank they could have hung back, forced the Germans to make that move and come out of cover. They could have maybe used their artillery instead of trying to knock out tanks, which is pretty difficult. The tanks got to roll a 1, to be destroyed, and then you've still got to roll a 3 up or a 4 up. So they could have used smoke. Maybe they could have put smoke down on their left flank so that the Stuarts could have moved around and got flanking shots on the Panzer IVs. But otherwise it was pretty much just a Mexican standoff, everyone just shooting each other, and the German dice were better at the end of the day. So the second game is Brits again, similar to the other list except it's got infantry and only one platoon of artillery. And the Germans are based on him and Göring, so there's lots of Panzer IIIs, which is nice to see, to be honest. But you've got to be careful how you use them, because they're going to find it hard to hurt medium armour even. This mission, as you'll see, it's one of the quarters missions, counter-attack I think it was, and the Germans got to be careful they don't end up, whilst they're pushing for the attack, that they don't end up in a vice. So over to the game, and we'll come back for a wee recap after it's finished.
There's a Russian front table with Brits on it, don't worry about that folks. The Brits have got infantry, 25 pounders, Shermans, just a very generic list, and the Germans are kind of based on Hermann Göring, to be honest. This was a deployment zone here. You might be wondering where the army is. Well, the scouts shot off down that road using the scout rules, and he deployed around there. The mission's counter-attacks and objectives are over here. And you can see, oops, actually they've got tigers, a couple of tigers, mix of Panzer 3s, Panzer 4s, and they're ready to kick off now. This is where the British reserves will be coming in. Lots of tanks, and there's also tank platoon and ambush, I believe. The Germans are on the move. The Brits have to get to that objective with their infantry, oh my goodness. The Hammer cars haven't done their thing, are now coming around the corner to be a nuisance. Tigers are right now protecting the flank of that advance, which looks like it's mainly Panzer 3s actually over there. There's many aircraft dodging around. I don't think, have you got a plane at all? No. Right, so that aircraft will be shooting up ground targets as usual, and some of them will. Let's see what the German firing's like. German shooting really came down to the Hummels. It's an artillery bombardment against the Panzer force, against pounders, and as you can see, 2 died. I was a bit unlucky. And the Brits are now on the move. Infantry moving into the broken ground.
It's immediate reserve.
Towards the Warsaw objective. So it's going to be tricky.
It's 1 dice. I thought it was good.
So this turn on the other hand.
So the Brits didn't get reserves. These guys did a wee bit of direct firing, but needed 6s, so didn't get any hits. Didn't pop their ambush, which is 10s. So need some reserves. They're going to be killing some Germans, I think. So, German shooting. First of all, the Hummels, having ranged in last turn, didn't hit the 25 pounders. Panzer 3 Horde absolutely leathered these guys with machine gun dice. And how many bases got killed there? For your infantry, just the one?
Just one, actually.
Just one base, oh my goodness. And these guys are waiting for reserves. What about your ambush and then reserves? That's the order.
Yeah, that's the end of mine. So ambush, reserves, underpinning.
So what was first underpinning?
So no reserves, the British, but they did pop their ambush and absolutely hammered this platoon of Panzer 3s. And the one's left bailed and that's it.
Smoke on the guy.
The infantry have moved out to do an assault. Managed to get a smoke hit from the light mortar. So light mortar's actually quite useful. Now he's going to close in and do some damage.
Okay, that's that shooting. You've got any more shooting? You didn't believe.
So in the assault,
6 inches back.
there's only a couple of hits from defensive fire, and as a result there was no casualties. One armour car died in the assault, the other one needed a 6 to counter-attack and had to break off. But you'll notice that they're out of command now, so that could cause a problem next time. The Germans are just finishing shooting. They tried to clobber these guys. It would seem we got quite a few hits, but only one failed save. Most of it was anti-tank 9 coming from the Panzer 3s, and it just resulted in one bailed out M10.
Okay, so we do reserves first, then we do underpinning.
Does he provide like cover for your other guys, or?
The British got 2 twos in a reserve. Quite a lot happened this time. First of all, these guys fired and smashed the remaining Panzer 3s. I think there's only one left active. The reserves From here, killed a Panzer IV, killed a Hummel,
Too difficult for you.
and over there he bullied those two unarmoured anti-aircraft half-tracks.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to
Killed them. So basically got the Germans in a vice just now. The Germans have got to start killing some stuff.
Cross checks as well.
They're running out. So the German turn, you can see they've moved the Panzer IVs, Tigers to get shots into these. The Hummels are saying sod it, we're going to stay where we are, and ranged in against the wood, but only killed a base of infantry. Panzer IVs in the woods.
Morale.
Missed the one eligible target in there. So nothing much really from the Germans at all this turn. But the Brits are still not on this objective.
Have much effect on them unless you
So in the British turn, the last reserves arrived in the woods. The M10s moved up and continued to dish out punishment. They killed another Panzer III. And then over here, a Panzer IV bit the dust and a Tiger bit the dust. And two Hummels bit the dust. So it's looking grim for the Germans. So in the British turn, the M10s managed to bail one Panzer IV and kill a Panzer III. The Tiger got hit twice by 17 pounders and rolled sixes each time, so it's still alive. That was on the last stand. Let's see.
unbail him. He's unbailed.
Right, so the Panzer IVs are staying and the Tiger is on the last stand.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. Right, he's 2+ in the last stand, so he's okay.
So the Germans are staying, but there's not much of them left. And the Brits haven't lost a tank yet, which is a bit nuts. That's 17 pounders for you. Germans just called it, guys, and it makes sense. You can see the British haven't lost. Oh no, they killed. Did a tank die?
I've just flown it, yes.
Holy
That was
The
on my,
British tank has died?
that was one of my missions.
So there you go, they're just going to call it there for the Brits because there's very little left on the German side at all. There's 4 tanks.
And it's lunchtime and everyone else is eating sandwiches.
4 tanks, a couple of armour cars left. So there you go, but that was too aggressive on the part of the Germans. But you never know, it might have gone another way. There was some pretty good dice rolling off those M10s and pretty bad dice rolling off the Germans, and that could have gone completely the opposite way.
But I'd left them out there.
Yeah.
Come on, Frank, said it to one last.
So there you go, folks. That was probably one of the most spectacular scrapyards of Panzer IIIs that I've ever seen. They were bumper to bumper in there, blown to bits by an ambush that just wouldn't die, wouldn't go away. Those Achilles just kept hitting and nothing could hit them back. In that kind of situation, it's hard to do anything, to be honest. But the Germans did kind of set themselves up a little in a vice between that ambush and the reserves coming on. It was a really good move to use the scouts the way they did and put the objective under very early pressure. But they've got until turn 6 for that objective to come live, so that means they've got time to deal with the reserves as they arrive. If they'd attacked out of their deployment zone, for instance, attacking to the front, keep pressure on the front, pressure on a nearby objective, and then also ready to shoot down the reserves as they arrive piecemeal, then that might have been a longer option, but maybe one that relied a little less on just that quick kill around the objective that I think they were hoping for. But it was still quite an entertaining game, and I don't know how the British lost so few tanks, to be honest. But there you go. Maybe it was just down to the dice gods again. A little bit about my game now. I didn't record it because I just wanted to concentrate on playing it. I used a very vanilla German force. It was a Panzer IV company with 2 platoons of 4 and company command of 2, and then Panzer Grenadiers, 2 platoons with a company command. And then to back them up, I had 3 well, the light armour car patrol, and 3 Nebelwerfers. And I was up against Mark again. He used a more balanced 4-sided infantry and tanks. So it was a tank formation, 3 platoons of Shermans with 1 Firefly in each, plus a company command of 2 Shermans, and then there was, let me think, an infantry company of 2 platoons of infantry, plus a platoon of 2 6-pounders, and then a battery of 4 priests. Now, those priests, for the first time in any game that I've seen for artillery, absolutely destroyed my dug-in infantry. They smashed them to bits, and they were gone within about 3 turns. Now, normally that just doesn't happen, but I just kept failing my saves. He kept hitting, and the 3-up firepower, well, that makes it much more likely to kill than a 4-up firepower, as you would get with a mortar or such likes. My own artillery dealt with his infantry in not such a quick way, but they put pressure on them. But in the end, I lost a platoon of infantry that was holding an objective. He put a big rush on it, and I just managed to hold out. But at the same time, this was counter-attack, this mission again. At the same time, I popped an ambush behind him, because he moved his tanks into my deployment zones. Popped an ambush behind him, put a platoon in reserve behind him, and a platoon of tanks, and I worked my way through his tanks, destroyed all his tanks, killed 1 of his infantry platoons. He had another platoon that came on from reserve, backed up by 2-pounders, and they were contesting the objective. But by that point, I was also contesting the objective, because I got my Panzer Grenadiers in reserve and in their half tracks, and I'd killed one of the 6-pounders. So he just called it, because it was just a question of me moving in for the kill. The lesson for the Brits said was, don't go into your opponent's deployment zone when he's got an ambush and put your back to him, basically. Try and move in a concerted group towards the enemy with cover behind you. But for me, the lesson was Nebelwerfers 9 points, or 3 Wesps 9 points. Well, I've gone and bought a box of Wesps, because that 3-up firepower compared to a 4-up firepower with a better anti-tank, I think is a bit of a no-brainer, really. The fact they're armoured as well, they cannot get assaulted. The amount of times I've had Nebelwerfers on the table and I've been assaulted by fast-moving tanks, because I can't get enough on the table at once, you know. So they can still get shot to bits by tanks, a Wesp, but it can move out the way a lot more quickly than a Nebelwerfer can in the right conditions. It could blitz 18 inches away and get right out of harm's way. So I'll be painting them up soon. You might see some Wesps on the table. But there you go, guys. 2 games using Fortress Europe. I can see us using this again as we're waiting for other books to come out, and hopefully there will be a wider range of late war options available in these later books as we see them. But I think if you're an American player, buy the new American book. Otherwise, Brits, you might want to hold off. Germans, you're probably going to get your options you need in the Normandy books. But maybe Brits and Soviets, to get playing with them, get playing with your stuff, I think it's probably a good investment for just now. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll get another video up for you, hopefully another battle report with me against Brian in the very near future.